Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So this is part 3 of our N8N automation series. In part 1, we installed and ran N8N locally using npm. In part 2, we built our first workflow using triggers and nodes. In this video, we are going one step further and building a real world automation using webhooks and APIs. So today we will create a workflow that starts with a webhook, receives data via HTTP request, process that data, sends it to an external API, and finally returns a response. This is one of the important concept in N8N. So pay close attention to this thing. Coming to the webhook part, let's first try to understand what is webhook. So a webhook is a external system to trigger your workflow using an HTTP request. So instead of clicking a button manually, something like a front-end app or a CI/CD tool or a GitHub or another service can trigger this workflow automatically. So let me repeat once again. So before adding anything, let's understand what a webhook is. A webhook allows external systems, those systems which are external, to trigger your workflow using an HTTP request. Instead of clicking a button manually, something like a front-end app or a CI/CD tool, a GitHub or another service which can trigger this workflow, we should use this would be the automatically triggering of the workflow. So let's now add the webhook trigger. So we will be adding our very first node. Before adding the very first, this is the red color create workflow button. If you are following my cursor, this is my red color workflow button. We click on that. So in this workflow button, we will add a node which is called, we will add a node which is called which is called webhook. So we select some webhook. Okay. So this is the webhook node that we have added, and it is the edit panel that you are seeing. Left portion is the event on which a webhook would be triggered. Right would be the output what the webhook shows. So we are going to configure it for the post request. So we change it for the post request, and path would be something like we will be adding. We call it as webhook dash test. Okay. So response mode options, it is immediately when last node finishes, using respond to webhook node, and streaming return the data in streamline in real from going to do is that response mode would be um, what is the respond when it is defined, or you can change it to the some other expression, but according to the your requirement we can have these options. There are some other options which we don't need to pay attention for now. So these are the few things that we need to take care. One is the HTTP method. If you hover off this, this is the HTTP method it listen to. This is the path. So this is the path. Authentication, we are not authenticating our system. And in the respond mode, we are selecting there are few options. These are the options. Immediately when last node finishes, using respond to work, webhook node, or streaming. So, in the respond, the question here is what is the respond mode, what we need to select. So, I'm selecting using respond to webhook node because this allow us to fully control the response sent back to the caller. So, the caller, the person who is calling the webhook, it waits till the response is sent back. This is how real APIs and production webhook works. So this is the reason we are selecting this thing. So once these things are selected, we go back to our, we close this editor and we go back to a node or the canvas. So till now what we have added um, webhook node. We have added a webhook node as a trigger point. So how we can test this thing? We can test it using certain like a tool called a postman. If you have the postman tool, it would be better. So if you open just node, this is the test URL you can use to or the production URL is this one, test URL is this one. Okay, so this is the URL looks like. Okay, if you are going with the production URL, this is the URL. If you are going with the test URL, this is the URL. So this is my, so when I click on this, we can copy the URL, and we are making the post request. So we need to have a postman or a tool that is able to send the request to the system should be there. So let's open our postman tool, and once the postman tool is available, then we will do this testing. So our postman is getting ready. Till the postman is ready, let me see. So let me share this particular screen. So this is my panel looks like of the postman. And if I go back to the post request, this is my post request, how it looks like. This is the body, what it looks like. This is the script, and this is the test. We can ignore this thing, but we need to copy our URL. So we go back to our page, copy this URL. So once the URL is copied, We come back and paste this URL and save this thing. So we are sending certain data. So data could be something like a name. This is the name. We can have a role, which is DevOps engineer. And lastly, we can have a tool called N8N. So this is the thing. Postman configuration we have done. We have pasted the URL in the body. We selected the raw and selected the JSON as the data type. In the test, we can have the test. In the scripts, we can have the test scripts also. So there is no authorization, so we put it in the no auth mode. Headers are fine. Body is this one. Okay, let's try to send the request. Before sending the request, this is my request. Let's try to send the request. We sent the request and we found that workflow must be active for a production URL to run successfully. So we go back to our page and we come back here. We publish our project. We call it as webhook and HTTP workflows. We publish it. We got it. Okay. So once this is published, we come back. We try to send it again. So now this is saying that no response to webhook node found in the workflow error. No response to webhook node found in this thing. And this is the error code that we are receiving. So actually what our issue is, webhook is not responding with our webhook. Why it is not responding? Because it there is no data that is something like so when we when we add that node and when we try to send the request, so there is no respond to webhook node found in the workflow. So we need to add a respond node and we need to send the message. So to add the respond node, let's add it a respond node. Let's go back to the webhook and click on this thing. Search for respond to webhook. Add this thing. So there are few options for all incoming items, binary file, JSON, JWT, no data. So we selected the thing JSON. This is my respond to webhook looks like. And what I would be doing, just having a status, make it as success and message. Okay. So now what we are going to do, we are going to test it. So what we have done till now, let's revise once again. So in this webhook, we added as a trigger. This is the post request and path is this one. In the respond, we have added using respond to webhook node. So this is the configuration. And another node what we have added is respond to webhook. Once we open this, this is our response, which is which is returning to the source requester. So we save this thing. We come back to our postman panel and try to send the request once again. So once we send the request, we get this thing as a response, which signifies that our webhook has triggered successfully. If we want to test it on the panel whether the execution has occurred or not, this is our latest execution which has occurred at this time, and this is our webhook. Looks like it has both green ticks. It means that it is running fine. So we come back to our another processing of data. So this is our uh, endpoint where somebody is sending the data, and this is our response structure. In between we can add a node which actually process our data. So let's process our data. In the we are going to add a set node. So let's have certain set nodes, so which looks like this. We search for set and we do the manual mapping. So in this we write the username as expression, which would be json dot name. We add another field which is designation, which is json dot role. Okay. And let's add one more field which is source, which is, let's put a static value of webhook, and we save this thing. So this is our field. Now when any execution happens, when any webhook execution happens, it will fetch the data that we are sending. We are sending name, role, tool, and once the data is fetched, that data can be processed using edit fields. So this is the step. This particular edit field is the step where we can clean the incoming data or we can transform the incoming data. So this is our testing. And once the respond to webhook is there, let's update this thing also. So once we execute our let me show. Once we execute our workflow, um, this is look like this. Once we execute our workflow, uh, but it will not occur because we are not creating any event. So what we can do, we can execute it using the request, and once you request it, it will execute it. And in the executions, we can see this execution happens. And wait, let me refresh this executions once again. Yeah, okay, it is still not showing the editor. Let's publish this first. Once it is published, let me send the execution once again. Okay, this is the new execution and it has now the fields. If we open the edit fields, what we are getting here is json.name and json.role. It is not correctly mapped. We need to map it properly. It is coming under the body. So what we need to do, we need to get the body object with the name and the body object with the role. And this is output is not good. So we go back to our editor. We Instead of JSON, we type body. So I'm just sending a mock data to show it to you. This is our mock data. Once we send this, once we send this thing, so once we execute the workflow, we get our name and the code, and this is our thing which has occurred. So if I pick it up and put it here, it is $json.name. Okay, so this is it what it looks like. So what we need to do, we need to edit it like this. That body dot name dot body dot role, and the webhook. We clear this thing. Yeah, we don't require any data. We publish this thing and try to set it once again. In the executions, we see the latest execution which is the, let's open it. So this is sending name, role and tool. Let's see it is correctly mapped or not. So it is correctly mapped, which is coming as json.body, which is coming as the body, and then the name, and then the designation is the role. Source is webhook, which is constant. So we are seeing this thing. So let's move ahead with the editor, and let's try to understand another concept of HTTP. So we can make the HTTP request also using N8N nodes. So we will be adding one more node in between the edit fields and the respond to webhook. What we are going to add, we are going to add a node called HTTP request. Okay, so we are going to add a node which is HTTP request, and we are going to make a request of post request to an external endpoint. So in this external endpoint, we are going to send certain parameters. So let's stimulate sending data. It is a post request. It is a post request. Okay. And our URL would be https bin.org/post. There is no authentication parameters. there would be indeed certain body parameters which is in the JSON format, or you can use it using the JSON also. Okay, or you can use the field below. So we are going to send certain parameters as username, which we call it as a user. We are going to send the designation, which we call it as a role. And lastly, we are going to send it as a source, which is we called it as a from. So this is the step which we have completed, and we are going to make a post request on https://http:/bin.org/post, and we save this thing. Okay, this is our structure, which is looks like it has a webhook. It has a edit fields which is used to edit or transform the data. Then there is a HTTP request to the external API endpoint. Then we are sending a response to our webhook. So in the final node, which is something like a response to our webhook, this is very important. Without this, the person who is making the request would not be able to get the response. So it will be showing certain error. So now we are going to test this complete flow. So let's make a request once again. Before making the request, just publish this version so that it would fetch it properly. So we are sending the request once again. We send the request and see, let's see our executions which has happened. This is our latest execution, and in this execution, this is our current workflow looks like. So we have a webhook node, we have a edit field node, we have a HTTP request, and finally we have a respond to webhook. Okay, so this is we are going to see what each node has request. So in the webhook, a request is received. So this is the request received, and this is the parameters of the request which has received. Coming to the data part, in which we are fetching certain body objects. This is the output of this node, which is fetching the body object. Once the body object is fetched, we are mapping it to the body parameters of the HTTP request. So you can see this is correctly mapped. Once this is done, we are making the request, and once you open this node, this is the request which has received, and this is the output which is there, which we call it as a response. And response to webhook would be this one, and this is the response which we are getting. Okay, so this is the complete workflow which looks like after the execution. So let's quickly recap what we have learned. So webhook triggers workflows automatically. So if we want to manage the workflows externally or automatically, this is one of the good option. So data, as we have seen, data flows from node to node. So set node, what is the importance of set node? What we have seen, it helps in transformation of the data. Then we have seen HTTP request, which helps in external API integration. And finally, what we have seen is respond to webhook data, which sends the data back. This pattern, which we are seeing, is used almost in every N8N projects. So if you are working on any N8N projects, this is one of the thing which you should look for. So if we talk about real world projects which uses same kind of flow structure, we take it as an example of GitHub workflows or Slack notifications. or it could be something like CI/CD triggers or monitoring alerts if you are getting, or any SaaS integrations. So if we are doing any kind of such things, we understand that this is one of the quite powerful tool that we have integrated using the workflows. In the next part, what we are going to see, we will build a real DevOps automation in which we are going to see GitHub webhook to Slack or monitoring alerts for automation. So let's keep learning. So if this video helped you, please have the like button and also have the subscription to this channel. So if you want to learn more, just you can comment in this video as well. So thank you for watching. Let's move to the part 4.